This is important, guys. TYT is still a problem we have to deal with on the left. Somebody said that Swanson money, right? TYT, they're going to actively try to rat the election just like they tried to rat 2024, and they did a pretty good job of it, okay? And they're going to try to rat 2028, especially if Gavin Newsom should happen to win the primary. TYT will be in full rat fucking mode, okay? They will. You know what I'm saying? They absolutely will. And this shit is crazy, dude. There's two things happening right now, okay? And again, both of these are Heritage Foundation. Number one is white men, white people, white racism. They're trying to use the Civil Rights Act to protect white people because they're claiming that DEI is racist against white people. There's racism against white people because black gets capitalized and white does not. I mean, all these arguments, and this is intrinsically tied to that Samantha Fulnecky religious shit at University of Oklahoma because it's tied to the Christianity too. It is part of Project 2025. It is part of white Christian domination, where if you prevent the white man from doing something, you're racist. And if you are like preventing the Christian from doing something, you're harming religious freedom. Never mind that they're literally trying to run every non-Christian person out of the country and put them in jail. And yes, J.D. Vance was talking about this at AmFest with his "I'm not going to apologize for being white anymore."
We have relegated DEI to the dustbin of history, which is exactly where it belongs. In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore.
And it's like, who was asking you to apologize? You should apologize for being a fucking liar, for uniting with America's Hitler to try and get some presidential power, for probably fucking Charlie Kirk's wife. I mean, there's a whole host of shit J.D. Vance should apologize for, and none of it has to do with him being white.
So I think for this story, context is everything. So for example, you could look at older Young Turks videos, and we've been around 20 years now. We're about to celebrate our 20th anniversary on YouTube.
They're so bad, bro.
And say, wait a minute, Cenk, I remember you guys saying that, oh, boo-hoo, white men, you just don't have enough power. You guys are complaining for no reason. Yeah, we might have said that in 2011, for example, when, just take one of these stats here, I could use two of them, when 48% of the TV writers were white males. That's already disproportionately high. So what is the percentage of white males in the country? Very important to know so you can level set here, 31%. So back in 2011, they were way overrepresented in Berkeley professors at 52%,
dude,
TV writers at 48%, etc.
What is he doing, bro?
At some point, it started to get to a point where there was a balancing out, and now the pendulum has swung the other way. And some folks on the left will say, no, you can't discriminate. There is no racism against white people because they're in power. Well, unless they're not in power, because yeah, they might be in power in the government and in many other contexts, but maybe they're not in power at Berkeley or at the Atlantic or in other institutions. And now, when you look at the numbers today, TV writers, they're down to 12%. Well, that's nowhere near 31%. At Berkeley, they're down to—
So what? So what?
To 21.5%, etc. Now, do you have to hit 31% exactly? No, that would ironically be a quota, right? And what's the system you should use to?
Well, what about this, Cenk? What if there's not any good writers? What if the writers of color and the women writers are just better writers, Cenk? Like, maybe it's only at 12% because guys aren't becoming good writers. Like, they don't consider that. They're just like, oh, let's talk about the percentage. Oh, they're underrepresented. White men are underrepresented now. Dude, I don't see white men underrepresented in shit. because every one of those writing rooms that has like only 12% of white men in the writing room, the executive producer is a white fucking man. I guarantee you, the studio head is a white fucking man. The head of every department is a white fucking man, almost exclusively. So like the thing is the balance right now is there's only 12% in the writer's room, but there's 75% in the executive producer chair. And you're leaving that out. The low-level writer's room is not the sum total of the writing experience in Hollywood. And yes, we need new stories. Okay, white men can't write stories about a lesbian black woman living in Oklahoma. That story's not going to come from a white man. Okay, you're not going to have a white man tell you the story of a transgender person surviving in Donald Trump's America. Okay, like, sorry. And dude, frankly, we've had all the white men stories, bro. Now the white man stories become a rapist, become president, and then bully everybody in the world.
I'd like to think it's the system we use, which is I don't give a damn. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, old, young, men. I don't care. And what kind of staff do we have? We have an incredibly diverse staff because we hired the best people we could, right? And so to me, that's inarguably the right system, especially after you've gotten past the original problem. The original problem was white males had all of the positions.
Yeah, but so the thing is though, no, Cenk. See, Cenk's missing here. That was not the problem. The problem was not white men had all the positions. The problem is white men have all the power. Okay? And that's still the problem, Cenk. Okay? They were trying to adjust the power dynamic with positions and some of this stuff. But like, dude, we are not past the original problem. The problem wasn't the positions. The problem is white men have all the power. And the problem is still white men have all the power. Right? And so, like, if you're saying DEI didn't work and we need to try something else, then okay. But like acting like we have, like the problem is gone is fucking ridiculous. Dude, yeah, the problem is that Trump is in the White House. The problem is that Cenk Uygur will polish the knob of whoever's in power to try and get some money. He's like, oh, white men are so oppressed. Oh, here, somebody put some money in my fucking little basket. Oh, can I have $1? Hi, I'm Cenk Uygur. Dude, MSNBC passed me over for a woman of color. So now I'm like, yes, white power, please give me $1. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Dude, Jesus.
So I interviewed Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, and I don't agree with him on a million things, but I wanted to hear his perspective.
Mm-hmm. Dude, he's bringing up interviewing Scott Adams, right? He's like, I went and talked to the KKK because I wanted to hear the KKK's perspective on like our racial discrimination issue against white people. Dude, what the fuck? I'm sorry, guys. Like, you know what I mean? What are we doing, bro? At this point, dude, look at that screen freeze right there, dude. Oh, Lord have mercy, boss. But yes, this is a right-wing viewpoint, guys. This is right-wing shit. And TYT are like walking right into this. Let's watch this. Dude, I'm trigger warning. I'm probably gonna get heated, okay? I am, dude. I am probably gonna get heated watching these idiots because this is some bullshit.
In my opinion, the pendulum has begun to swing too far. And what does that lead to? It leads to not a little discontent and not just the right wing. It leads to much larger discontent and risking the pendulum swinging back.
A controversial new piece in Compact magazine written by 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗵𝗋 makes the claim that beginning in 2014, classically liberal American institutions intentionally avoided hiring white men. In fact, the piece claims that some institutions even admitted that they were outright discriminating against white men.
Okay. I'm going to pause right there. I'm going to pause, right? Dude, I don't know, man. Like, seeking diversity, I don't see the problem in this, right? She is, oh my God, they were actively not hiring white men. No shit! Because white men literally had every position in every job, in every government, in every company, on the top of every chain was all white men. Many of them who didn't even deserve the job, or worse, were like Harvey fucking Weinstein that were abusing everybody under them. So yeah, we're gonna go to like 50 years of like, it's hard to fucking get a job if you're a white man. So what, man? Now the white men can understand what everybody else felt like every day of history. Like, go start a YouTube channel or go become a TikToker. Like, figure your shit out and feel like what it's like for every woman, every person of color, every gay person, every trans person, what they have felt for thousands of years. Like, can white men just tough it out for 50 years? And get some parity, and instead of complaining and being like full necky and going and speaking to the manager, can the white man just go like, God damn, this sucks. I'm sorry that the rest of the world had to go through this shit. Now, again, I understand what it feels like for young white men who like have had that privilege taken away. It probably feels like, wow, this doesn't feel good. And so I get it. I get that, like, there is some contextual stuff of like that privilege changing or feeling like an outsider. Like, I get why people feel like, oh yeah, that's hard. But I feel like it's sort of our job to contextualize it in the greater social milieu of the, what people have suffered for, hundreds of years, thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe white men were under attack at all. I think they were being passed over to elevate, people that had been passed over for centuries. Trump has come in and created this idea that white people are being oppressed. But like, dude, it feels like it's more of that class shit. You know what I'm saying? It feels to me like the oppression is coming from the wealthy, okay? The oppression is coming from the billionaires, okay? You know what I mean? That's really what's happening. It's coming from the billionaires, and who are the billionaires? Most of the billionaires in America are the white guys. I mean, look at who's leading the charge, guys. Here it is, dude. Anti-white, anti-male discrimination ends now. Okay, this is the guy leading the charge of the anti-white, anti-male discrimination. The guy who is worth $600 billion. The guy who bought our president. Okay, if there's anti-white, anti-male discrimination, dude, he bought the presidency. He threatens the entire Congress. I'm sorry, but I don't see white men having a lack of power there, buddy. Trump's entire cabinet is white, is mostly male, right? There's a couple women in there, but they are all like, subjugate themselves. Okay, but look who's leading the anti-white, anti-male discrimination. The wealthiest billionaire. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.